Hello, I'm Merzendi, and welcome back to Legal, or more particularly, me being sad while some legal footage is playing. So, if you follow me on Twitter, you will have seen I posted an update last week, and also last week, even if you don't follow me on Twitter, you would have seen that there weren't any legal episodes. Instead, there was an emergency Dark Souls. Now, that is why I'm sad. Because, you see, just to reiterate the Twitter update, in case you don't follow me on there, or it was lost in the storm of other tweets, I lost the audio last week. I had it set up to record from the wrong microphone, my headset microphone, and because of the type of headset I have, if my headset microphone is all the way up, which it normally is, it's muted. And this is very convenient, normally. But unfortunately, when you've got it accidentally set to recording from that microphone, it's less convenient. A lot less convenient. It's, in fact, really quite annoying. So, yeah. It's a bit of a problem, as I'm sure you'll agree. Now, that's enough of the technical side. Let's actually start thinking about this legal. Now, the slight problem with this is that I kind of felt really about re-recording it. Because I had absolutely no audio to go with, and I didn't even have the slight thread of my thoughts that I had last time, but I had a bit of the audio, and I used that to just get back to where I was. I had absolutely nothing. So, that combined with the fact that I didn't really know what... By the time I realised it, I'd recorded this episode and the next episode. I normally record both of a week's episodes in a single session. Yeah. Sort of didn't quite where I intended to go with this, so... Yeah. But... well, I was meant to be actually talking about legal now. Yeah. So, as you can see now... So, I believe last time we started... Well, last time we didn't start, we started this time. Last time we finished with me having finally enlisted and gotten myself a nice uniform. And... when you enlist, your maximum party size is increased. As you saw earlier, mine is now 107. So what I'm doing at this point is running around and getting a full party of chasseurs. It's something I hope will look very, very nice when it's finished. Just 100 men on horseback, lined up in ranks, all in the same uniforms and just waiting for my signal to charge in. Aren't there yet, and to get there, we've got to first recruit a lot of them, and second, level them up. This time, in this battle, oh no, one of them died. It always irks me when a proper chasseur cheval is killed. But here, once you drive into these bandits, you'll be able to get some recruits from the locals. And on top of that, the recruits we already have will get some experience from the combat, so they will hopefully be leveled up. And that is all of them, thankfully. And other thing of it having been so long since I'd lost the footage that I'm now re-recording, I've sort of forgotten what happens, other than that. Well, I remember what happens near the end, but as we can see here, I think I was showing off my loadout, as I have switched from a single pistol and double ammunition to a pair of pistols, and that was an unfortunate misclick, as that meant the battle I fought in Treves didn't actually get me any good recruits, and the men of Luxembourg are cowards. But here we encounter a companion, Pierre Ducos. He's very well dressed, has an excellent hat, and a pair of rather unfortunate looking spectacles. Not really his fault that he has bad eyes and that nobody has yet developed attractive spectacles. But it's still bad looking spectacles. So, he's a spy, basically. And yes, a spy for Fuchs, a leading member of the French Revolution. Now, that's quite an impressive repertoire he has there. As, well, it occurs to me now that I should have probably looked up Fuchs a little. But it also occurs to me that I can do that a little. Yes. Joseph Fouché, he was made the first Duke d'Otrante. He was a member of the Assembly during the French Revolution, and at this time in the mod, which is to say 1809, he is Napoleon's Minister of Police. So he managed to survive the revolution as a minister. Well, as a member of the Assembly. Sorry, he's now a minister. I don't want to be spending too much of this episode just reading articles at you. That would be a little dull. But in case you don't know, a lot of the leading members of the French Revolution were guillotined by other members of the French Revolution. Robespierre, one of the most famous revolutionary leaders, in fact, I would say just the most famous man in the French Revolution, responsible for the Reign of Terror, and that one of the men behind the guillotining of the king and queen, he was guillotined in return. Which... That Fouché has survived in that case, it's quite remarkable. And... there is a... Yes. Fouché is actually responsible, at least in part, from Robespierre's overthrow. For Robespierre's overthrow, not from, sorry. They had a personal conflict, and... yes. After Fouché mocked a festival that Robespierre was inaugurating, Robespierre tried to expel Fouché, and Fouché, with the protection of other members of the Jacobin Club, survived the expulsion, and... yes, on the coup of the 9th Thermidor in 1794, Fouché got rid of Robespierre. So, unfortunately, having now taken the time to read that, I've completely lost where we are in what's going on. I'm now just showing off my companions as they are all uniformed up, and I believe I was debating whether to do the same for Ducos. As a spy, it may be a little unusual for him to be in uniform. He might not be completely used to it. But a carbine is something he should know his way around. I'd be very surprised if a spy does not know how to use a musket. And I think I'm leveling them up now, unless yes. I had managed to fall behind a little on keeping everyone actually leveled up as they are supposed to be. So, I believe I've said before that I want Artemena to be my engineer and surgeon. Catherine should cover the other medical skills, but I expect them to have some overlap. As we can see here, Catherine has 4 in wound treatment, 4 in surgery. 4 in first aid, but nothing in surgery. Also, I clearly have never given her weapon proficiencies. But, yes, I was debating a little as to where to put her skills, as by raising her weapon mastery, I can actually increase her proficiencies and spend those skill points a little more usefully. Sorry. Normally I would want to cut this out, but because I'm a little iffy about what actually happens, and I'm not certain what's going to come next, and I can't really put in my normal signal for cut this bit of it out, but when I get around to editing, I'm just basically talking my way through it all. So, if you don't want that, just skip the rest of this episode and probably skip the next one. Which, I might be uploading on Thursday, I might be uploading next week. It's hard to say at the moment. Yes. I did decide in the end, regarding Ducos, that I was going to get him a uniform. And furthermore, I was going to get all of my companions the NCO's coat. Since that way they will hopefully stand out a little more. They won't, because the only substantial difference between the NCO's coat and the regular coat is that the NCO's coat has some not straps, what's the word? Chevrons, yes. Has some chevrons on the shoulder. So you could see there for just a moment when Pierre was modelling it. Unfortunately, I'm not staying on the same shot for very long. Yes, I'm not staying in the dialogue menu, for very long, so you aren't getting a good shot of the difference. But trust me, that is it. And now we have a slightly irritating moment, as the eagle-eyed among you may see that the shop has 0 francs, so I can't get paid for this. At least not from here. And this is because of a little programming trick that Doc M has used, which really I approve of wholeheartedly, but it can be a little irksome at times like that. Basically, he understands that you will want to equip your companions in uniforms, and that means you want to buy several uniforms at once, and the only way to do that is to force the shop to reset immediately. Now, most shops, like the ones in cities, they reset every few days, maybe every week. I can't really remember for sure. That was probably a misclick there, unless I just wanted to show off the, some fist fighting. It was a misclick, trust me. But yes, these shops, every few days, every week. But the military depot, as soon as you click out of it and go to click back in, that is enough to make it reset. And that means even if you spend hundreds of thousands of francs on gear, which you really shouldn't be able to, that would be odd. You will... Yes, sorry. You will not be able to get any of that money back for when you want to go and sell things. Now, here we are. We can recruit a few more cavalry. Pierre has leveled up from training, which is nice. It's rare to see a companion do that. But unfortunately, he has to level up twice before we can raise his riding, since he only started with agility 7, and we need to bring him to agility 9 so that we can get riding 3, which does mean that it's quite likely that in his first battle he's going to be on foot. Which will be simultaneously sucky and great for him. And here we are, once more, the peculiarity of not having to pay any of our troops. And that is 218 soldiers. We don't want to fight 218 soldiers. We have 107. 107 soldiers against 218. There's only one way that can go, and that's my death. But now we're fighting Thomas Graham, and we are the ones that outnumber him more or less 2-1. In this case, slightly less. But you can see there, on the high seas. And we don't have any chasseurs with us. We have a lot of sailors. This is a very, very peculiar fight. To be honest, it wasn't one I enjoyed. It's nice that if you're fighting someone at sea, that's represented, but representing it like this? I mean, it's accurate for a boarding action, more or less. I would expect the ships to be a bit closer, or at least something more than just the gangplank to be tying us together. But that's really the only complaint I have. This is a very accurate representation, and, well, it's bloody chaotic is what it is. And of course, because, there's so much of the ship in play, we have to make sure we maneuver our sailors into a position where they can actually fire. Because if they're, say, here, then for the most part they won't be able to shoot because that little wall is in the way. So what I'm trying to do is get them all to stand out in the open. Admittedly, a bad idea from the perspective of keeping them alive, but they aren't my chasseurs. They're random sailors. Unfortunately, because that little blockage on the far left that you might have seen, it's hard to get them into the proper position, so they are a little screwed up. And we've got several sailors just standing there. Muskets presented as if they're on parade. I mean, they're sailors, nobody would ever want to see them on parade. Oh, it does look like those guys are now, for the most part, shooting. There's still one bloody stupid fellow that's not aiming properly. But now, I'm just having them charge in. And the rest of this fight is kind of bad, so I'm going to try my best to cut it out. I'm bringing it back just so you can see where the last enemy is. Oh, but he may not be the last one. I think there are a couple down there. But, yes. He's all the way at the bottom of the sea. And this really just is my biggest complaint about features like this. Not just in this mod, but in any mod. But you can get enemies spawning or falling to places where you really just can't do anything about them, and it doesn't kill them. He's just fine and alive down there. Well, if you want to go and try standing at the bottom of the Irish Sea, loading a musket and shooting upwards, please, for the love of God, don't, you'll die. I do not endorse this. Please, no. Do not do as this man did. You do not have lungs of steel. And here, massive irritation. Because one of my chasseurs was killed, and none of my chasseurs were fighting. And second massive irritation, Thomas Graham's party is still alive, just depleted. I really dislike the naval battles here. And now we have Stapleton Cotton joining in. We could probably take him in a naval battle, to be honest, now I think about it, because, hey, we'll just have equal numbers of sailors. Then he'll lose half his men. But that is the end of it. Sorry that this is going to be a black screen to finish. I've lost track of the time. Thank you for watching. I've been Merzendi. You've been you. See you next time.